but because of the shame that comes with being sexually harassed as a child, you will never ever understand the shame that comes with that, because obviously you're a child, you didn't do this to yourself, this was not supposed to be done to you. And ever tells you a story of like them being sexually abused in detail, just know that it takes a lot. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am literally on a roll today. This is my second video on one day. Okay, I might post it together today, or I might post this one the next day, right? This video is going to be an extension of, not really an extension, but like the story time that I told on the first video that is going to come before this. I am going to extend it a little bit and try to explain what I'm going to talk about in this video. So this video, I've been putting it off for such a long time for obvious reasons. I'll be talking about how being abused as a child, I am going to say, I don't want to use the word sexual abuse because I was not raped, but I was touched inappropriately, and certain things were done to me by a male family member that were not supposed to be done to me. I got exposed to things that I was not supposed to be exposed to being a child, right? So I don't know what term I should use because I don't want to use the wrong term like sexual abuse. I try to do a little bit of research, very lazy research, but like the term sexual abuse tends to go together with molestation. I was not molested. I'm obviously not gonna tell you the details, not because I'm trying to protect this person. I really don't care about him. He's dead to me. He's as good as dead to me. I don't like him very much. But because of the shame that comes with being sexually harassed as a child, you will never ever understand the shame that comes with that, because obviously you're a child, you didn't do this to yourself, this was not supposed to be done to you. You understand all these things. Sorry guys if you hear any noises, this is someone at the top of me is making so much noise. I don't understand, but please excuse that. But I was saying that the shame that comes with this is so unbelievable. It is so hard to tell people with a free heart. If someone ever tells you a story of like them being sexually abused in detail, just know that it takes a lot because it comes with so much shame. And I think that comes from, you know, just asking yourself about like, why did this happen to me specifically? Even though you know that it happens to a lot of people, you just don't understand, you know what I mean? Like you sometimes ask yourself about, did I do anything wrong? But at the back of your mind, you know that you didn't, but you still feel such a huge shame, right? So for those reasons, I'm not gonna go into detail of what happened, but I will say that things were done to me that were not supposed to be done to a child, and I was a child then. So when I was a kid, like I told you guys in the previous story, this is also, I guess, kind of an explanation of another factor of growing up without your parents. Like I said, I'd stay with my grandfather and my grandmother. I really can't recall the exact timelines, but I don't think that when this happened, my grandfather was still alive. If he was, I never told him, because if I had told him, then hell was gonna break loose, honey. Okay. Probably the reason why I didn't tell him is because I wasn't aware that I was being sexually harassed or abused. So this was happening to me, and I had kept it to myself, not because I was told. Like sometimes kids are abused and then they're told not to say anything because they're gonna be killed or whatever. I don't recall this person saying that to me. I just didn't say anything because I didn't think there was anything wrong with it at the time. I guess I don't know what was going on in my head, but that was going on for a while. And the reason why I told someone about it is because this person had tried to do the same thing to another child that was also about my age in the neighborhood, right? And obviously this child picked up on it before it happened and told her parent. And then when she told her parent, this is when I remember my grandmother had gone to this other child's house because in the solution they talk things through. They don't report anything. They just talk about it and try to fix it, like within the family, within whatever. So my grandmother had gone to this person's house and she was talking to the grandmother of this other kid. And while we were playing with this other kid, I just blurted out that he also did something to me. I don't know what exactly I told them, but I told them that he also had done something to me. And it was brushed off, guys. It was literally brushed off as if I don't know what I was saying. You know what I mean? So, fine. That happens and I let it go. And now I remember I had moved in with my aunt, right? And then I had came back for holidays. And like I told you again from the other story time, I used to want to sleep by myself. So I remember this time I was sleeping in my aunt's bedroom. And this person had came in my bedroom and had tried to do something to me again. But now I was 12 years old and now I know that it's wrong. You know, I know that you're not supposed to be doing that to me. You're not supposed to be touching me like that. And so I was sleeping. I was fast asleep. But when it happened, I woke up and I was still a bit confused because I had just woken up from my sleep. And then I rushed, after he left the room, I rushed to my mother's bedroom and I told her what had happened. And my grandmother, I remember my grandmother called him and he was like, what are you doing? And he was like, no, I don't know what he said, honestly. And he was trying to comfort me and I was like literally shaking, you know what I mean? Because I was afraid, because I think at that time everything now was starting to come back, you know what I mean? Like everything was starting to come back. And now I was coming to the realization, but this person has been doing this to me for so long, and now he's still doing it because he still thinks he can, because he didn't get punished during all the times that he was doing whatever he was doing. So I find that happens, and I remember my grandmother said, I'm gonna tell her dad. She said she was gonna tell my father. Okay, after that it was like nothing had happened. Fine, we let go of that. It was like nothing happened, we forget about it. But obviously, remember, I'm still a child, right? 12 years old, you're still a child. You don't really keep things in you. You think you don't, but you actually do, because this has affected me my whole life, still does even to this day. Okay, fine, that happens and we let it go. And I remember this one time I went back to my grandmother and I asked my grandmother, so utatiye wathini, to show that lento iyanditya, you know what I mean, like I haven't let it go, like it's still eating me up, you know what I mean. So I went back to my grandmother and I asked her, what did my dad say? And I'm messing up my shit. And my grandmother told me that my dad said, as long as I was not raped. Literally, as long as I was not supposed to say that word. He said, as long as I was not R8. And that hurt me to the core. Like literally, I think it hurt me more than at the time, more than what had happened, you know what I mean? Because it was like, okay, does this mean that I'm not supposed to be thinking about this? This is not supposed to be affecting me as much as it does. It's very confusing. Fine, that happens. We let it go. They let it go. Obviously, like I said, it's still eating me up, right? So I'm going back to the story that I told you guys, the last video. If you haven't seen the last video, please first watch that video. So when this happened and my aunt was angry and all of this was happening, she had slapped me and I was crying. Like I said, I went to the other room and I was crying my balls out. So when I went to the other room and I was crying, this person that was abusing me throughout my whole childhood comes in the room and he's like, he's comforting me, you know, but don't worry about it. These people are gonna go, don't worry about it. And like he's saying things to me that makes me see that he understands why I'm crying so much. It's not just about the physical hurt. I was slapped real hard and it hurt, but that is not what hurt me the most. It was the emotional pain that was hurting me. It was what that physical act was depicting to me that hurt. And so, like I said, everyone else was like, why are you crying so much? You know what I mean? Like they didn't understand and they were just moving on with their life. And this person was here telling me about, it's gonna be fine, don't worry about it, and saying like just a bunch of stuff that was making me feel better, like making me feel like someone understands why I'm feeling like this. And this is what I'm trying to highlight to you guys. When people are being abused by someone they stay with or someone they have a relationship with, especially if they're children, I truly believe that, especially if you're a child, it can be very confusing. It can be very, very confusing, because even when that happened to me when I was 12 years old and I knew right from wrong, it happened, and for a while I was not thinking about it, and then I think until I was like 19 or whatever, like grown up, because yes, this person would do things to me that he was not supposed to do. He had done things to me that he was not supposed to do, but he was doing those things 20% of the time, but 80% of the time he was a good human being, you know what I mean? And sometimes I would feel like he loves me, he cares about me. Like for instance, that day that I felt like everyone else was not understanding where I was coming from, he understood why I was feeling so much pain, you know what I mean? And it was so confusing, because now I'm like, okay, this person loves me, and you know, I also feel some certain love for him, because firstly he's blood, and also he is showing care and kindness to me. But now all of a sudden, when I'm all grown, I'm like, I fucking hate you. Like, I don't like you, I don't want anything to do with you, because now I'm starting to realize, but you fucking messed up my life, you know what I mean? Like, you messed up a lot in my life, because now I have this thing that you did to me that I didn't ask for because I was a child, and now I have to deal with this thing, and extent that even people that come into my life that didn't do anything to me have to deal with this thing that you did. My partners, my friends have to deal with this person, that this monster that you had created, because to some extent I had to be a fucking monster because I didn't want anyone abusing me. You know what I mean? Before anyone can abuse me, I'm like, fuck you, you're not gonna do that to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just like something that I just want to say, anyone that had been abused as a child, physically, sexually, whatever, like, I get you. Like, I understand and I know what that can do to a person. You can try so hard to be a good human being, but sometimes you can be so hard on people and you can be so closed off because of something that you are dealing with, and sometimes you're not really aware of how much that is damaging the kind of person you want to be. I lost track of why I had told the story, but like yeah, I was trying to highlight how it can be so confusing sometimes to tell these stories, because later in life this person then physically attacked me, and I did go and report him, and I was so angry and I was crying so much, and I had reported to because the police were confused about, like, yo, you're crying so much, did he hurt you that much? You know what I mean? And I had told them, but it's not just that. I feel violated by this person because he had done this to me when I was a child and he got away with it, and now I'm angry because he thinks he can get away with this. You know what I mean? But that had happened a long time ago. I have no proof. And really I was just like, it's not worth my time. And I was still going to school at that time. I was at varsity at that time. I just felt like, let me just drop this because it's really not worth my time. But like, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that sometimes for victims of abuse, I really don't want to see myself as a victim. It can be really confusing, and also I want us guys to acknowledge the shame that comes with being abused, especially as a child. The abuse that I took as an adult, I think I can say it because, like, I'm an adult, you know what I mean? I can leave, or sometimes I can defend myself, but like when I was a child, it wasn't supposed to happen because I couldn't defend myself. Secondly, I couldn't comprehend what was happening to me, and so I don't know if that's the reason why I am so shameful to explicitly or tell everyone in detail what happened. But like, yeah, I hope that was not too triggering. It can be triggering for like victims of whatever, but if it was, I apologize. I am still dealing with that, and it's not easy, but yeah, I don't know what you can take from that. Maybe, I don't know, whatever it is you take from it. I hope it's positive. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.